Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here as the playoffs begin in Season 3 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. It's race 1 of round 1, and we kick things off here today at the Richmond International Raceway for 60 laps of racing. Possibly today, a driver will be moving on to the round of 12, but there's a contender at the front here that's still looking for his first win of the season. That is non-playoff contender Ryan Butcher lining up on the pole position. But he's got nothing but blue banners behind him. Beside him is Ryan Brommer, the highest qualifying playoff contender. He's going to start this race in second. V Almariego there in third, and Levi Mcintyre in fourth. You can clearly see the difference between the cars, showing who's a playoff contender and who is not. Playoff contenders have the blue name banner up on the windshield. They also have blue spoilers, blue splitters, and blue name banners on the back of the car above the back windshield. So, be very easy to tell the playoff contenders from the non-playoff drivers here tonight. But we're ready to go down trackside, get these things going here for our first playoff race of the season.
Drivers, start your engines!
So if you tuned in to last week's regular season finale at Auto Club, you basically know what the point standings look like coming into this race. Jack Mitchell, Dylan Young tied for the overall points lead. Dylan Young with 3 wins, Mitchell with 1 win, and of course the 10 bonus points for winning the regular season championship. 5 points back from them are Jose Mills, Austin LaPlante, and Carson Gum, all with 2 wins. And then the rest of your playoff field comprises of Zach Rogers, Matt Haas, Cody Lamas, Levi Mcintyre, V Almariego, K Batson, Ryan Brommer, Carter Friesen, Nathan Hudson, Jordan Lopes, and James Qualls. For Mitchell, Haas, Almariego, Batson, and Hudson, it is the first time that they have taken part in the playoffs. It's their first career playoff berth. 60 laps here today at Richmond International Raceway. Non-playoff contender Ryan Butcher into the restart zone. Green's in the air. The playoffs have begun. Everyone's going to bottom feed here tonight, I'm pretty certain. You see Ryan Brommer get kicked up 3 wide to the high side. That was Levi Mcintyre moving up the middle. Rookie points leader Patrick Smith to the inside as Brommer continues to ride way up the track. Patrick Smith with Cole Baker on his back bumper. Baker the last couple of weeks has been really good. Had that runner-up finish back at Bristol Dirt 2 weeks ago. As out in front, Butcher leads the way. V Almariego, the highest playoff contender, now to second. J Gardner rides in third. The battle continues for the 4th position. Cole Baker leading the way underneath Patrick Smith, and he's going to bring playoff contender Carter Friesen along with him. Adam Garcia now moves up to 6th. Right behind him, N Ormond, who just missed out on the playoffs. He was a winner this season, but not high enough in points. And then one of our 2-time winners, Carson Gum, currently up inside the top 10. Just took away the 8th position from Patrick Smith. It's going to be fun to watch. Oh, we got spin there. Some skid marks on the front straightaway. And are we under caution is the question. Yes, we are. But I was going to mention, it's going to be fun to not only watch the playoffs here this season, but also watch the rookie points battle. Because after last week, through the regular season, 1 point separation between Patrick Smith and Austin Kolano. So the 77 and 81 will certainly be duking it out. And the first caution is going to come out with our regular season champion, Jack Mitchell, involved. Looks like J Shelton may have been collected as well. And that is huge for Mitchell. Also some rear end damage can be seen on another playoff contender, Nathan Hudson. Also some rear end damage on 2-time winner Jose Mills. So at least 3 drivers, playoff contenders, receiving damage from whatever the incident was, which I believe was just past the start finish line here on the front straightaway. So as Ryan Butcher leads us under caution, let's go back and see what happened. Things just really got congested off of 4. You can see they're in 4 different lanes going through 3 and 4 here. We're going to watch J Thibodeaux, the 33, Charles Belding, the 91. I believe they're the ones that are going to make contact and start this. No, actually it was contact between Shelton and Thibodeaux that causes this one. Shelton kind of getting crowded up into Thibodeaux by Kolano. Thibodeaux's car snaps up into Jack Mitchell. Mitchell's going to go down and bounce off of J Shelton. That spins Shelton around as well as Mitchell. And we'll see if anybody gets into them. Doesn't look like... Oh, yeah, they do. Right there. Jose Mills into Mitchell. Hudson into the back of Mills. And then Collins was into the back of Hudson. And then I don't know if Thibodeaux makes a little contact there with Shelton or not. The fortunate thing about it being a track like Richmond is they don't carry a whole lot of speed into these corners here. A lot of heavy braking zones, so the hits they take maybe not as detrimental as they would be at a 1.5 mile speedway where they go over 180 miles per hour. So Jack Mitchell may be able to continue, but obviously for him, Hudson, and Mills, their cars probably won't handle the way they would have if they were completely pristine and not damaged. Plus, they're going to be starting towards the rear of the field, and this is a track where if you're damaged and off the pace, you can get put a lap down pretty quickly. Green flag will come back out on lap 9 of 60. Still a long ways to go here in our first playoff race of the season. All 40 cars still running, all 40 still in the lead lap, and more importantly, nobody came to pit road. All those drivers we saw with some damage, like Mills and Hudson, Shelton, Thibodeaux, Mitchell, none of them came to pit lane. So, it'll be interesting to see if they're going to be up to speed or not, especially Jack Mitchell, who has both left and rear damage on his McDonald's Chevrolet. Certainly, I think it's glad he's got those 10 bonus points from the regular season. That's going to definitely help him out with the early struggles he's had here today at Richmond. Ryan Butcher leads him back to the green. Vince Almariego, J Gardner, Cole Baker, and Carter Friesen. That is your top 10. Right now, you've got 4 of your playoff contenders inside of the top 10 if you add in Carson Gum and J Lopes, and they were 3 wide for second. No love for the playoff contender Vince Almariego as Baker and Gardner put him way up to the top side. And Baker is going to try and take second place. Now he's got Carter Friesen looking to the bottom. It's all going on behind Ryan Butcher, who's saying, yeah, go ahead. Race it out amongst yourselves. Let me pull away here. J Lopes got the final transfer spot into the playoffs after Auto Club last week. Right now, he's up inside of the top 10, running in 8th. I think he actually is now up to 7th, and he's about to take away a position from Cole Baker. No, he's up to 6th, looking for 5th. And right now, following in the tire tracks of 2-time winner Carson Gum, who, after his victory, his second victory of the season at Bristol Dirt about 3 weeks ago, I mean, he has been on a tear. Talk about a driver that needs momentum going into the playoffs. Well, Carson Gum certainly has that. Another playoff contender working its way up into the top 10. That's Levi Mcintyre, who started 4th in this race. Now going 3 wide with teammate T Wright, putting Cole Baker up on the top side. Levi currently scored in 9th, and with that pass right there, I think he just moved up to 7th. M Saatchi came into this race outside the top 30 in points. That's why he didn't make it into the playoffs. He was a former winner from this season, but not high enough in the standings for it to count towards a playoff spot. He's going to make a pass there on Cole Baker. That's for 8th. Move back up closer to the front, see if we got any battles brewing, and we have a battle for the lead. Carter Friesen has reeled in Ryan Butcher. Remember, for these playoff contenders running up here, if they win here today, it's an automatic ticket into the round of 12. They don't have to worry about the upcoming 2 races here in the first round. We're still green, but I just saw some skid marks up there in the middle of 3 and 4. And it was another playoff contender that it involved Zach Rogers in the 6. So if we don't have another caution come out, then the editing crew will give you a look at what happened to Zach Rogers. But he's now dead last, 40th, and obviously off the pace as we got a battle for the lead now. Carter Friesen to the inside of Ryan Butcher. He'll take the spot, and here comes Carson Gum with some momentum. He might look for the lead down here into turn 1. Zach Rogers came in 6th in the standings, highest of the drivers with 1 victory this year when the formatted points were put together after Auto Club. Look at this. Top 3. All the lithium blue Duracell banners. And J Lopes making the pass on Carson Gum. Moving into 2nd place. Chevy, Ford, Chevy. Only other playoff contender right now up inside of the top 10 is Levi Mcintyre running in 7th. Then you got to go a ways back just outside of the top 10 before you find Vince Almariego slotted into 11th. Drop back further. There's Ryan Brommer starting the outside of the front row. Right now scored in 18th. Cody Lamas is riding in the 20th position. James Qualls just lost a spot to Jesse Turner. Drop him back to 23rd. Three-time winner Dylan Young right now in 25th. Austin LaPlante, two-time winner in 27th. Keith Batson, who actually is a former winner here at Richmond. Won here back in Season 1, riding in 29th. Nathan Hudson, we know he got involved in the first incident, got some damage. He's right now 32nd. Matt Haas is faded back here to 33rd. And Jack Mitchell right now running in the 38th position. Jose Mills in 39th. I wouldn't be surprised if Jose Mills actually might have been collected up with Zach Rogers in that incident over in turns 3 and 4. Because it looks like he's got more damage than he sustained from the first wreck. So there's a lot of playoff contenders back there. And also, we saw running towards the back, Ryan Acosta, the defending champion. Well, Chris Dollarton's not in the series. Ryan Acosta didn't make the playoffs. We are guaranteed a different champion here in Season 3 of Duracell Cup. And we're looking here at Carter Friesen out in front. I mean, two drivers. I think I talked about this storyline at Auto Club, but two drivers in the past 2 seasons that finished runner-up for the championship are in the playoffs. Carter Friesen, who missed out on the championship by 1 point back in Season 1. Ryan Brommer, who lost the championship by 7 points last season to Ryan Acosta. Both of them are in the playoffs looking for some redemption. Carter Friesen's win this season was at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. That was a 1.5 mile track. He's got quite a number of 1.5 mile wins here in the Duracell Cup Series. Richmond's kind of considered a short track. It's around 1 mile in length, a little bit less than that. And so Carter Friesen trying to show, hey, I can get it done at all the tracks. But he's got Jordan Lopes breathing down his neck. That last time by, Lopes was about 300ths faster, and you can see he is visibly closing in on that Wendy's Chevrolet, so we could have a battle for the lead on our hands here momentarily. We're also getting close to the halfway point of this race, and I don't really know what the fuel window is for these guys. We could potentially see another race come down to green flag pit stops. Look how Lopes is really good on entering into the corner. I mean, he closed it up to about half a car length now between himself and Friesen. It's like he's better on entry. Friesen's a little bit better at getting back to the throttle on center and off, getting that good straightaway speed. You can see he was able to gap Jordan Lopes right there. I think Lopes may be a little bit better in turns 1 and 2. Friesen better in 3 and 4. And Almariego's cracked back into the top 10. Just got around Cole Baker. Following in the tire tracks of rookie Aaron Macklin, who I'm sure got some advice from Keith Batson, a former winner here in Season 1. Trying to become another rookie that goes to victory lane. Really surprising here at the beginning of the season that, you know, a lot of rookies were going to victory lane. We had Ormond at Bristol. We had Thibodeaux at Las Vegas. We had Nathan Hudson there at Michigan. But in this race this season for the championship, believe it or not, with all those rookie winners, only one rookie made the playoffs, and that is the 24 of Hudson. So the odds are not in favor of a rookie taking the championship this season, that's for sure. So right there, Zach Rogers being reeled in. Last thing he wants to see is the leader going by him, trapping him a lap down. Because that almost ensures that he's going to finish in the 40th position if somebody else doesn't run into some trouble here in these remaining 43 laps. No, 33 laps. He's praying for a caution right now. Nathan Ormond just made a pass on Carson Gum for 3rd. So the 41's laying down some pretty good lap times currently. Didn't make the playoffs, but, you know, everybody that didn't make the playoffs, they're out there just looking still for checkered flags to finish out the season. And Nathan Ormond, who had a win at a short track this year at Bristol, obviously trying to fight his way up here. I'd watch out for this guy, Levi Mcintyre. I think he's probably one of the faster playoff guys on the track right now. He got around J Gardner for 5th, now reeling in Carson Gum for 4th. Levi, who won the Coke 600 earlier on this season at Charlotte, making the playoffs for the 2nd time in his career. He was in the playoffs last year after a New Hampshire win. William Brock just went around Ryan Butcher. That was for 7th. You know, a lot of drivers are out of the playoffs and everything, didn't have a victory. William Brock would fall into that category, so too would Benny Watson, Kolano, Smith, Deaver. Drivers who, if they had had a win in the final few races of the season, definitely would have been in the playoffs. So now those guys are out there just trying to see who can finish the highest in points, which would be 17th of the non-playoff contenders. Right now, William Brock is 17th in the standings. Benny Watson, not too far behind him, is 18th. There he is right now, cracking the top 10 is the 75 car. See if anybody's made any strides. And one driver that actually is working his way up towards the top 10. How about Cole Deaver, the rookie there in the 08? And I think we have had, for the first time this season in weeks, we may have an exchange for the rookie points lead. Austin Kolano, 1 point back from Patrick Smith coming into this race, right now in 17th. Where is Smith in the 77? Boy, he has faded back. There he is. Back in 34th. Matt Haas, Nathan Hudson still back here outside the top 30. Not going to be good points days for them. Same for Jack Mitchell. Boy. Jose Mills is back there. Zach Rogers is back there, obviously, in dead last. So this is going to be a very interesting point shakeup, as top 4 have gotten around Zach Rogers, who has now fallen a lap down. Levi Mcintyre in 5th place trying to do the same. No exchange for the lead as Friesen and Lopes made their way around the disabled number 6. But right now, there's about 5 playoff contenders running back outside the top 30, which means there's going to be a pretty big sense of urgency, I would say, in the next 2 races of this round. And guys up here like Friesen and Lopes, McIntyre, Gum, they're smiling, thinking, boy, we could have ourselves a nice little points gap heading into these next 2 races. But of course, for Friesen and Lopes right now, they're battling for a automatic ticket into the round of 12. And with things as spread out as they are, I mean, the likelihood of a caution coming out is very, very slim. So it now comes down to whether these drivers are going to be able to make it on fuel. They had that one caution back in the early stages of this race to be able to save some. But there's still going to be about 23 laps to go this time around. It's still a long ways in this race. I don't know if they had 60 laps or not in the tank to be able to make it the entire race. And it may not even be about fuel, it may be about tires. I mean, look at how slow Carter Friesen gets down into the corner, down to about 90 miles per hour before getting back to the throttle. So he's definitely babying those tires. If these drivers can't make it on fuel, they want to stretch as far as they can. At the same time, they've got to take care of the rubber underneath them to make sure they make it to that point without having some kind of a tire issue. And I think right now, Friesen and Lopes are kind of in conservation mode. And that's allowing Nathan Ormond to reel the both of them in. So you got a Chevy, Ford, Toyota as your top 3. And Ormond had to make his way around Levi Mcintyre, around Carson Gum, and he is reeling in the top 2. Looking at the top lap times, 22.9 for Friesen, 23.0 for Lopes, 22.9 for Ormond, and it's about 3/100ths faster than the 22.9 that Friesen laid down. This is your battle right here at the front for second place between Lopes and Ormond. And Ormond, remember, is a non-playoff contender, so I think he's not really going to care how aggressively he races the 38. If I'm Lopes and Ormond is right on my back bumper, pull over, let him go. Don't risk going around off his nose. We're within the 20 lap to go mark. Friesen continues to show the way. I mean, if a caution comes out at this point, that's going to shake things up as well. I think we're going to see everybody on pit road. But if we don't see a caution from this point on, do we see green flag pit stops? And if so, when do they take place? I keep watching the 37 of Friesen. He kind of turns it left off the corner. I don't know if the car's getting loose on exit, and so he's having to kind of gather it up, and it kind of dips towards the inside off of 2, towards the inside of the back straightaway, but it keeps almost looking sometimes like he's indicating he's coming to pit lane. Watch right here off of 2. Watch how the car kind of dips off to the left right there, and so it's hard to tell if he's turning it all the way left, indicating he's coming to pit road or not. Right now you've got 5 playoff drivers up inside of the top 10. 4 in the top 5, and then you've got V Almariego, who right now could be in danger of dropping out of the top 10. He's got N Macklin to the inside. Almariego probably not wanting to put up that much of a fight. If he can tuck down in line behind the 93, it's a bit of a gap back to teammate Cole Baker. And he could maybe ride in the 11th position, but he is still not really letting the 93 by. Now I think he's going to get clear before they get down to turn 1. Can he tuck down in front of the 11? He sticks to the outside line. And now has to give up the spot, and he will now tuck in behind the 93 of N Macklin. Talk about a comeback driver. I just noticed back here, J Shelton, who was involved in the very first wreck, the only wreck we've had. She's fought her way up now to the 16th position. Now trying to go by, actually make that 15th, now looking for 14th on teammate J Deaver. So that's a driver that had to cut her way through the field, and she's almost up into the top 10. That is impressive. Battle maybe here for the 9th position between Ryan Butcher and Marcus Saatchi. A couple of non-playoff contenders with nothing to lose. Butcher's still looking for his first win on the season. Started on the pole for this race. Saatchi, former winner this year at Dover, looking for his second victory of the season. Benny Watson's working his way up to the front. Just got around J Gardner moments ago, up to 6th, trying to reel in Levi Mcintyre. And N Ormond has made his way around J Lopes and now hounding Carter Friesen for the lead. And how defensive is Carter Friesen going to be? Because remember, Ormond just wants a victory. Friesen wants to get into the round of 12 with a victory here tonight at Richmond. And I say tonight as the sun starts to set down behind the hills. Track's probably going to cool down a little bit more here before we get to the end of this race, giving these drivers a little bit more grip to work with. And Ormond is there. Going to be 11 laps to go here at the line. Friesen's got to run as defensive a line as he can and force N Ormond to try and choose somewhere different to make a pass. If Friesen can get back to the throttle off the corner sooner than Ormond, I think he can hold him off. And I believe they may be closing in on another car. That's the 98 of Jose Mills, who pretty sure got involved with the wreck with Zach Rogers, who is right now the only car one lap down. Mills about to follow the same fate. Jose Mills was 3rd in points coming to this race, a 2-time winner. And Richmond has not been kind. And boy, it's just kind of been the same old story for Jose Mills. Been really good in the regular season, but then he gets to the playoffs and it's like he hits a block of ice or something, just freezes. And no, I did not make that pun with a Friesen out in front. It's the battle of the restaurants, if you will, the fast food restaurants. Wendy's and Burger King out in front, 1st and 2nd. And you got to wonder if that 98 is going to come into play because he is a teammate to J Lopes. So if he holds up Friesen and Ormond, that could bring the 38 back into the picture for this win. 8 laps to go at Richmond. I believe we are going to make it the entire way on fuel. And N Ormond driving it deep into the corner there. I think we're going to make it the entire way. I don't think that these drivers are going to have to pit. So this is basically the battle for the win that's going on right now between Friesen, Ormond, maybe J Lopes, depending on what happens here in these final 7 laps. Wow, N Ormond really drives it in deep into turn 1. Trying to close in on Carter Friesen. This is going to be interesting here because we are going to have the late race leaders encounter that 98 of Jose Mills. So can Jose at least hold up these top 2 long enough for his teammate J Lopes to get up there? The Mobile Automotive has 3 drivers in the playoffs this season. Mills, Lopes, as well as new teammate Levi Mcintyre. So Jose Mills can advance. Obviously, we would love to be able to make it a possibility for at least one of the Blue Mobile Automotive cars to advance, and it looks like he may have stacked him up a little bit. N Ormond had to lift, and that allowed J Lopes to get to the inside. He's going to try and move into the 2nd position as Friesen now alongside of Mills trying to put him a lap down. Lopes clear for 2nd. See if Jose Mills is going to move out of the way of his teammate and let him have a shot at Friesen for the win. He's gonna. Jose Mills doing what he can to try and give Jordan Lopes a chance at the checkered flag. He may have another car to deal with here. A couple of cars getting reeled in, a couple of rookies there. Nathan Hudson, the 24, running 37. Patrick Smith, the rookie points leader, coming into this race, 38. And Smith's only about maybe 5-6 car lengths ahead of Friesen with 3 laps to go. Well, he's a little further than that. I thought he was actually closer than that. Carson Gum going to make his way around Jose Mills. Let's allow Benny Watson to close in on him for a late battle for 4th. Great points day regardless for at least 4 of our playoff contenders, Friesen, Lopes, Gum, and McIntyre, all up inside of the top 6. And for Friesen, right now he is just a little more than a lap away from making his way into the next round, as I just saw the 24 of Nathan Hudson heading for pit road. Don't know if that's regularly scheduled or not. That's going to have him finish even further down in the finishing results. Only rookie to make the playoffs, and finish dead last on the pit road as late as he did. As out of turn 4 for the final time, Carter Friesen. He's going to advance into the next round of the playoffs, and I failed on the camera. I think we had another playoff contender actually on pit road. I think that was the 8 of M Haas. It was. 4 playoff contenders that are going to be at the rear of the field in the finishing results. So we mentioned 4 drivers up here that are finishing well. There's going to be a number of drivers leaving Richmond with poor points performances. That's going to make things very interesting in the upcoming 2 races here in the first round. But we know that Carter Friesen will be moving on to the round of 12 after his win here today. It's actually the first time in his career that Carter Friesen has had a multi-win season. Friesen had a win back at the Daytona 500 in season 1. He had a victory last year at Atlanta, and now this season picks up 3rd and 4th career victories in a multi-win season at Texas and here tonight at Richmond. Let's take a look here at the full finishing results from this evening's race. It's Friesen with the victory, Jordan Lopes 2nd. So playoff contenders 1 and 2. 3rd place for N Ormond. Benny Watson did pass Carson Gum for 4th there in the closing stages. So Carson Gum will finish in 5th with Levi Mcintyre in 6th. Only 4 of our 16 playoff contenders finished up inside of the top 10. J Gardner finished in 7th. William Brock 8th. 9th place for M Saatchi and R Macklin completed the top 10. Let's see where the rest of the playoff contenders finished. You got to go down to J Lopes, who was the defending winner of this race. He finishes in 14th. V Almariego in 15th. K Batson, the former winner here from season 1, in 16th. Austin LaPlante finished back in 19th. J Qualls in 22nd. Got to go all the way down to Dylan Young before you find the next playoff contender. He finishes in 30th, and so there's a lot of playoff contenders finished outside the top 30 here, because then you got R Brommer in 31st, Jack Mitchell after his incident, the only caution of the day, in 33rd. Jose Mills, matter of fact, all of our lap down cars were playoff contenders. Jose Mills 37th, Zach Rogers in 38th, and then M Haas and Nathan Hudson did have to make pit stops there in the final 2 laps of this race. They'll finish in 39th and 40th, so right now, at least based off of the calculations in my head, looks like it's going to be very, very close there between R Brommer, potentially, as well as Jose Mills, Zach Rogers, M Haas, and Nathan Hudson, of those drivers down near that danger zone as far as basically 13th through 16th in the standings heading into the next 2 weeks. But Carter Friesen knows that he won't have to worry for the next 2 weeks. He's locked into the next round of the playoffs. So congratulations to him on his 2nd win of the season here tonight at the Richmond International Raceway. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like and subscribe to become part of the crew today. These are your full finishing results that we have just shown you, and these are what your point standings look like, as well as your updated playoff points heading into next week's race. Next week should be a bit of a wild card race for these drivers. The road course ringers will be coming out because we will be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but the Roval configuration for the middle race here of the first round. And then, of course, we end things off in this first round with our first elimination race next week at the Yard of Bricks or 2 weeks from now, I should say, at the Yard of Bricks at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But that's going to do it here tonight. We'll see you guys next week. You've been watching a production of the NSCRA Offline Racing at its best. The playoffs continue to roll on in the Duracell Cup Series.